I'm a single dad, and I had to go meet my daughter's mother's new boyfriend. Okay, yeah, right? And, you know, that's never easy, but this is my life, all right? This can't be just some normal dude. This guy's got to be a cop, okay? Yeah. But I live here, like you all. He can't just be a cop. This motherfucker's got to be California Highway Patrol. He's Chips, y'all. Chip, you understand? I grew up watching Chips. It's a core memory for me. And now I got to go meet Ponch? What are we talking about?
Hey guys, I just want to say thank you again for all the support for the special. Continue to share it out there, like it, comment on it. It helps, man. It really does. And so many of you have asked, am I going to sell this Lefty Son hoodie? And originally I wasn't. I was just using it to promote the special. But hey, they're up now on the website, RyanSickler.com. Lefty Son hoodies are available. Go get them on the website. Thank you for your support. You guys are the best.
The HoneyDew with Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the HoneyDew, y'all. We're over here doing it in the Nightman Studio. I'm Ryan Sickler. RyanSickler.com. Ryan Sickler on all your social media. Please go watch the special. Thank you for supporting it. It's out now. It's on my YouTube called Lefty Son. Please go comment, share it, all that good stuff. And look, subscribe to the YouTube. It's another huge way to help the show, to help everything. All right. And if you got to have more, then I'm telling you, you got to check out the Patreon. I kept it at $5 a month for years now. You get the HoneyDew a day early. You get it ad free and you get it no additional cost. It's called the HoneyDew with y'all. And I do this same show with y'all. That's what it is. It's that easy. And y'all got the wildest fucking stories. I say it every week. We just talked to a kid who had a double lung transplant and married his donor's girlfriend, and they're about to have a kid. Talked to a kid in the Michigan State shooting who barely got away. We've talked to people who've died. We've talked to so many different honeydews out there. So check it out if you're so inclined. Also, getting back to being better health, we're going to start the tour up. It's called the Ryan Sickler Alive. Wait, I fucked it up. Ryan Sickler Live and Alive tour. We're starting in Fort Wayne, Indiana, May 26th and 27th. We're going to hit Tacoma June 23rd and 24th. I'm in Appleton, Wisconsin, July 7th and 8th. And Tulsa, Oklahoma, July 21st and 22nd to start. All right. Now, also, wait, I do want to say this. If you're looking for a new podcast, go check out my old podcast. It's called The Crab Feast. Did it with Jay Larson. And every guest in the podcast world that you love has come on there and has great storytelling episodes. All right. So that's the biz. Now, you guys know what we do over here. We highlight the lowlights. I always say these are the stories behind the storytellers. I am very excited to have this guest on, who I scared the shit out of to start this show for the first time here, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Josh Blue. Welcome to the HoneyDew, Josh.
Up, bro? You scared the fuck out of me, man.
Dude, I saw you jump out of the corner of my eye.
Why are you yelling at me? I just got here.
Dude, thank you for being here, first of all.
My pleasure, man.
It's an honor. You flew in for this.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
Sometimes you gotta go have fun and do things that, you know, I'm usually on the road on a Saturday like this, but This is great.
Well, thank you for being here. And before we talk about whatever it is we're going to talk about, please plug, promote everything Josh Blue.
Yeah, my social media is just Josh Blue Comedy. It's basically my name and then what I do. And that's it. It's pretty simple.
Josh Blue on all social media
all
as well.
All social media, and then if you can follow me on YouTube, that'd be great, and all that other bullshit.
And check out your special.
Oh yeah, so I just filmed my 5th hour special, and I'm not sure where it's coming out exactly, but it's coming. So.
I just did my first in a year. You've got 5 already. That's
and I
incredible.
have a CD too, so I have 6 hours of recorded material,
Hell
which is pretty fucking cool to say, man. It feels good, and you know, it's a fun process for sure.
Well, we were talking, you said you've been road dogging for 20 years now.
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah. And I do like 200 shows a year.
That's insane.
So I was like flying on average every 3 days usually, which is bonkers. But I love it. I love making people laugh. It feels fucking good, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you know that. Just it feels good, and like laughing feels good, but making people laugh has that same like endorphins and just like what's more fun than this?
Right. Well, let's talk about everything because you're born with cerebral palsy.
Yeah, we'd like to get that out of the way early.
Let's just get that out of the way early. But is that something that's genetic? Like, do any of your parents have that?
No,
or
it's
any brothers and sisters? Or?
No, it's not genetic. It's basically like a brain injury at birth or lack of oxygen. I was actually born in Cameroon, West Africa.
Really?
And my parents were teaching over there, and then I didn't want to come out, so basically I was in utero for like 10 months, and then they finally had to do an emergency C-section, and it didn't go well. It didn't go quite as they had hoped. So, and now I walk like this. You know? Whoops daisies.
That's a hell of an explanation, yeah.
And I was medevaced out of Cameroon. On my second day of life, I flew around the world to New York.
Holy shit! Are you serious?
Help. And I didn't have a passport. Like, my dad carried me in a wicker basket, and they never even looked in the basket.
Is that real?
They smuggled me in. I didn't cry. I mean, they thought I was dead, but
Is that baby dead?
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry.
You can bring him in. Just put him on the scanner. He's fine.
That baby's all right.
Yeah, he's fine.
So you're born in Africa.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, you're into New York to get medical help.
Medevac.
Is that where your family was from, or is that just where the best hospitals?
Was the best, closest thing that they could get to.
Okay.
I grew up in Minnesota, but yeah. And then my parents were there for 2 years, and then I got medical attention. I felt bad for my mom too, because there's no phones in fucking Cameroon, so she just thought I was dead, like lying up.
Wait, so just your dad took you?
Yeah, and a nurse, because the C-section in Africa is not. I mean, the babies come and get the shovel. Like, fuck.
It's an X section.
Yeah.
It ain't no C.
Yeah. It's not good. So my poor mom was like,
so she couldn't travel.
She couldn't go, and they sent like a nurse with my dad.
And what year are you born?
78.
So your mom's just laying there thinking her baby is dead.
Right. And then I think 2 weeks later, my dad showed back up with little me.
So what happened in New York?
I don't know. So he gave me some vitamins.
Made it work, and then you go back to Cameroon.
Stabilized me, got me back, and then...
And how long are you guys in Africa before your family comes? And are you an only child, by the way?
No, I'm the youngest of 4.
4, okay.
So, which... I have an interesting theory about that. So none of my other siblings have any disabilities that we talk about.
Amen, bro. Amen.
I'm lucky mine's on the outside. You know what I mean?
You're transparent with your shit.
But I feel very fortunate, like having cerebral palsy being the 4th child, I really think that was to my benefit. Because if I was the first child, when you have a kid, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're overprotective by the,
I see what you're saying.
So there's, they would have been so protective of me, I wouldn't have been able to grow and do what I'm able to do. Whereas being the 4th child, by the time they got to me, they're like, fuck it, he's fine. He's fine.
We'll learn about cerebral palsy. It's fine.
It's no big deal, whatever. So, so youngest of 4.
And so when does your family leave Africa and head back to the U.S.? How old are you?
I think I was about 1 when we came back. And then I went to elementary school in Minnesota. And then when I was 15, we moved to Senegal, West Africa, for a whole year. And I lived over there.
What was it about Africa that your parents liked so much?
So my dad speaks 13 languages.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's
Damn.
super genius. He's a language professor, taught French and Wolof, and
Do you know all the languages?
so that he speaks.
Yeah.
I can recite them, but
Does he do any
So-
like Chinese, Mandarin?
none of that. It's more Romance languages, and like he taught French and Italian.
I was just about to say Italian,
Right.
French, Spanish.
Spanish. And then in Senegal, the native language is Wolof, and he speaks that. I speak that as well.
Do you really?
Pretty well, actually.
Do you blow minds over there?
I blow minds so hard.
I'll bet, dude.
So hard.
I will. Tell me about a time where you just blew someone's
Well-
mind. Or like what? Because you probably have a good accent and everything,
So
right?
yeah, so I've been told that I was the best non-native speaker that people have ever heard. So I'm not. My dad's better grammatically and like maybe vocabulary, but I can speak it like a motherfucker.
Let's hear some.
So it's a very playful language. Yo boy, nanga def.
What does that
means,
mean?
hey, yo, what are you doing? So you want me to blow people's minds? There's, when you go to New York City, the vendors that always have the knockoff watches,
Yeah.
those are all Senegalese dudes. They're like the vendors of the world. And any big city, they'll be trying to sell you a knockoff purse. And when I talk Wolof to them, they're like, who is this homeless guy speaking my language? This is fucking insane.
Dude, I would
Dude.
love to watch that all day. Why aren't you doing
Dude,
that?
it's so fun. People, and they like jump out of their skin. And
I'll bet.
when they hear me, and I'm like I said, I'm good at it. It's just like
I've watched this video of this
yeah.
really white dude who does that in
Really?
China,
Oh.
but it's a very specific dialect and
Right,
accent.
yeah,
And when
okay.
he'll sit there and speak English first, and then he'll just casually drop something off the menu, and you just see him stop, like what the, and people are turning like holy shit.
Yeah, it's like that. So I feel like whatever my dad's gift of language, I have it. My siblings have it. We all speak at least 3 languages. I speak French pretty fluently as well. But yeah, so that's Africa to me is really influential time when I turned 16 in Senegal, and like as you know, that's a really pretty
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about.
influence.
Yeah.
That time of your life was you're seeing the world, and like I was super down about having cerebral palsy when I was a kid, and I went to Senegal and I was like, fuck it, I'm so lucky to have what I have, and it changed my perspective of
Wow.
what this was, and that like even though I walk like this, at least I got some fucking shoes,
Yeah.
I got food to eat. Like it just put it in, it just clicked it in, and ever since then I just was this happy-go-lucky dude who's just here to have fun and make people laugh. And
Well, you travel. So I know what traveling's like. It's a pain in the ass for everybody. And you say you're out doing 200 shows a year.
200.
So, you said to learn what this is. What is this? What's the hardest part about having cerebral palsy for you?
Well, what's really interesting with that question is this is all that I've ever known. So I don't know anything different. So
Compare, yeah.
this is just my life that I deal with on a daily basis. And it's like, my fine motor skills are shit, bro. Like, you want me to carry a pot of hot soup? You go fuck yourself. Like I'm gonna pass on that. We're gonna eat the soup over here.
It's just gonna be where it is. Yeah. This is the soup station.
I made the soup. You come get it if you want it. Shit.
It's self-serve here, motherfucker.
Yeah. The pot is on the stove.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. It's a great answer to that question.
Yeah, it sums up. It sums it up, and again, I've had this my whole life. I've definitely come to terms with like what it is, and I still get mad at myself for dropping something, and people are like, give yourself a fucking break. Like it's not your fault that you. And I'm like, well, I'm pretty high too, though. My first show, comedy, like official show I did in college, and I put flyers all over it that said, "It's not the palsy, it's the pot."
That's great. That's great.
And my professor was like, "We know."
All right. So it's all you've known your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
What's your first job?
My first job, I worked at a camp. I was a camp counselor at a really primitive camp in like northern Minnesota. It was a camp for inner city youth, and I actually attended the camp.
Oh, okay.
And it was, I think my parents just didn't know what the fuck to do with me during the summer. Like, hey, go to this ghetto camp. And it was great. I fit right in that motherfucker. And I went to camp 2 years in a row. And then they're like, you need to come work for us. So then that was my first job. And, can you imagine inner city youth come in and I'm their counselor? I'm like, I'm Chopsaw. Nice to meet you. You're going to be my canoe buddy. They're like, you want me to get in a boat with this motherfucker? I ain't getting in a boat with this dude. If I'm the guy taking you canoeing for 3 days? Jeez,
3 days.
3 days.
Not just around the lake.
No. 2 nights.
It's a canoe trip.
Yeah, we're going like 40 miles on the river.
Holy shit. And you're camping out overnight and stuff?
Yeah, man.
And you're by yourself?
So there's me and like a counselor and an assistant counselor.
With how many kids?
8.
Okay, that's a lot of kids.
It's
That's a good amount of kids.
How
many canoes?
It was 4 canoes.
All right.
It could be more, like up to 12, which is a lot of fucking kids to keep track of. But because they don't know shit about the woods, I would be like, it's getting dark out. The wolves are coming out. Better get in your tent. So like, oh shit, I'm getting in the tent, man.
Tent like it's gonna stop.
Yeah, a pack of wolves.
The question I want to ask you is this: basically, what's it like when people treat you differently because you have cerebral palsy? And it's a 2-part question. And have you ever had someone in your life that didn't, and you were like, fuck, thank you for just treating me like a fucking regular person, like I am?
Yeah, I mean, the first part of the question, I mean, it's annoying as hell to have people just see the way you move and then just assume that you're also mentally disabled. Or, I mean, people often think I'm like a crazy homeless person, and I'm dressed nicely, but people still will like give me a wide berth on the sidewalk and shit. And I'm like, I can see, like, I can see you, motherfucker. Like,
see you move.
What was that joke? I said, I'll be coming down the street and I say chivalry isn't dead, because when I see a couple walking down the street towards me, the man will move his lady to the safe side. And I'm like, there ain't no safe side. I'm gonna get you, lady. But that's real. That's stuff they deal with. And I mean, I can't count the number of times I've been 86 from a bar before I've even like had one drink. People be like, they'll be like, get the fuck out of here, you're wasted. And I mean, it's great because my friends will be like, actually, he has cerebral palsy. And then they're like, I'm so sorry, here's a free beer. That's how I drink my way through most events. It's just like guilting people into it.
Guilting them, yeah.
But that stuff is like, I can see it, I get it. It's a bar situation. I look, something's obviously wrong. You'd assume that. It's more of things like, I've gone into hotels that I was staying at, and one time I was waiting for my ride, and the manager came up and was like, what are you doing in here? And I'm like, waiting for my ride. And he's like, get the fuck out of here. And he made me get out of the hotel, and I was like, I'm a guest here. And I showed him my room key, and he was still like, get the fuck out. Like I had found a room key in the lot or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost sued those people.
Yeah,
I was like,
fuck yeah.
I'm like, you asshole. I'm clearly, he even looked at the lady at the desk, like, is he staying here? And she was like, yes. And he still was like, get out. It was insane. So there's that kind of things where it's more about the visual. When I get mad, more is the mental stuff. So my biggest thing, okay, in this comedy career, right?
Mm-hmm.
People still only see me as the cerebral palsy comic. And I'm a comedian that happens to have cerebral palsy, and I talk about it because this is what I know.
Yeah.
Like, and
people talk about their marriages, their fucking upbringings, all that.
Their race, their body size,
their sexual preference, all of it.
So I'm doing the same thing. And for some reason, everyone's like, you talk too much about that. And I'm like, this is what I fucking know. I tried to do it from a Southern Belle point of view, but that didn't work. Dear Diary, haven't been right since Mr. Earl left.
Mr. Earl.
No, but
who tells you that?
I've gotten it. Well, okay, so this is like just over the years. Like, I mean, Netflix have told me that. Like, all right, how about this? So
hold on. Netflix told you that you talk too much about having cerebral palsy. Man, fuck Netflix. Fuck Netflix, for real. If any one of those people, excuse me, were 7 foot tall, they'd be talking about what life is like to be 8 feet tall or 9 feet tall. Right. If they were missing their legs, they'd be talking about how their life is missing legs.
And the thing is, I look at it like, if you have that point of view of me, you're not watching my show, because yes, it comes from a vessel that is disabled, but I'm talking about other shit in this body. You know, it's not just like, yeah, it's real shit that happens day to day. All right, so this one is the one that gets me the most fired up and angry about this business. All right. So I had never been to the Montreal Festival. Like, everybody that was on Last Comic went to the festival, and they didn't invite me. They finally invited me in 2019, I think. And, you know, I won Last Comic in 06.
Mm-hmm. I know. I can't believe it's been that long. We were talking about it before. It is. I thought it was like 10 years ago. Yeah.
And they finally invited me to the thing. I was so ecstatic. And my agent was there, and I was sitting with her. I was like, so why did it take this long?
13 years.
To get me into this festival? And she said, their response was, we just don't know where he would fit into our festival. And I'm like, what does that even, like, people that like to laugh? I don't, and then she basically was like, he opens for Ron White, he opens for Dave Chappelle. Like, those are two huge names that like this guy enough to open for him. And they finally got me in. And I heard that, and I was like, I'm going to show you where I fucking fit in.
Yeah.
And I did the William H. Macy Gala, and I got a standing ovation.
Did you?
On my 10-minute set.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And I came off stage, and I'm like, that's where I fucking fit in. And then a big wig from the festival comes over, and he goes, pats me on the head, and goes, you're so courageous. And
do you know who it was? Tell me after.
I don't know. But I almost punched this old man in his fucking face. And I'm like, I get goosebumps. I get like, I'm like, dude. Even talking about this, I get so fucking enraged. And I mean,
was anyone there that heard that? What did you say? What did you do?
I physically stopped myself from pushing an old man down.
Did you say anything?
And I walked the fuck away. And I was like, so courageous. And it was in that moment, or like since processing that, I'm like, this business is never going to see me as a comedian that just got a standing ovation in a big theater.
But here's the thing about it. The business doesn't need to anymore.
Right.
The people need to. That's it. These people right here, these fans, these great people.
And the people know that.
That's
and
it.
My fans
the people stood and applauded. That fucking clown didn't.
Right. But it just made me realize that anything I want to do in this business is going to have to be me doing it. I'm not waiting for them to go, okay.
No.
But
it doesn't happen for most people. It doesn't.
I'm telling you, bro, every time now that I film a special or have something big to do, I think about that moment in my head right before I do it because I get fucking.
Dude,
I'm gonna show you, motherfucker.
Yeah, that would fire me to fuck. I'm gonna start thinking about that.
You're so
Every time I do
courageous.
something, I'm gonna start thinking about that.
You
It pisses
pat
me
me
off.
on my head, motherfucker.
Patting you on
break
the head.
your wrist.
Alone patting you on the head. I'm a grown fucking man. What are you doing?
So courageous. Blood boil. So mad. So those are the moments in my life that I still really feel the impact of being disabled, and like I'm very happy-go-lucky, but then when those things happen, it's just such a reality check to back to life and shit like that. And again, I do live this really weird dual life where I'm a pretty famous comedian walking down the street and people stop me for that, and then 2 steps later, like, get away from me, you drunk ass.
Taking pictures of people and then they want you to get the fuck away.
Exactly. It's crazy, man.
All right, so I want to talk more about this because you're a parent, you're a dad.
Dad, yeah.
And what age do you get? Did you get married first?
I did. Well, one of them was on the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you and your wife at the time meet?
I was dating her friend.
Nuh-uh.
I pulled the old switcheroo.
And then you started dating her?
Yeah.
And then married her?
Yeah, because
But
I
got
got
her
her
pregnant
pregnant
first.
first. That's why
Okay.
we got married. I shouldn't have got married.
No?
No.
Why?
I think it's a weird union of an idea and kind of arcane.
I agree. It is an archaic fucking
That shit
agreement.
made more sense when you lived on the prairie and there wasn't another person in 50 miles.
Yeah.
I guess I'm with you.
Yeah.
But so when we had 2 kids, I love being a dad. I like babies, man. I like little cute ass babies. I make people nervous as hell. They're like, hey, didn't everybody tell you not to shake a baby? I'm like, I'm just holding it. Like, don't tell me how to raise my kids. Like,
holding 2 kids at the same time. Somebody arrest this motherfucker. That's terrible. Oh shit.
You see,
all right, talk to me about the challenges of being a dad with cerebral palsy. Like, do you drive?
I don't.
You don't
so
drive.
that's number one challenge.
That's a big challenge. When you
Yeah,
have
I
kids.
don't drive. Obviously, I rely on others to help get them to school and all that shit. So, and then again, it's interesting because this is all that my kids have ever known, just like this is all I've ever known. So it's just how daddy does it. Or I was really active and like, you fucking do it. Like, make the kids do it. And so now they work for me. So
That's right. How old are they now?
15 and my daughter's almost 13.
Definitely old enough to be working for dad.
So, but they've been doing shit for me since they were 2. Like, you go get that. Daddy. No, the Budweiser. Budweiser. Read it. Yeah, so again, we're not eating soup at the table unless they carry it. So yeah, I mean, cooking, I cook, I do everything. I do the laundry, I do it all, but I definitely make them help.
Yeah,
So,
good.
yeah, but driving is the biggest issue I have.
I wanted to talk to you about this too because it's something very interesting. You did play sports and stuff, and you were a soccer player.
Yeah, so I was on the U.S. Paralympic team for 8 years. I've been
fucking
to
wild.
8
man.
countries playing soccer for the U.S.
How did we do?
Well, you suck.
Yeah, y'all out there getting your ass kicked.
We got fucked up, bro. It was bad. It was so bad, dude.
Who's the best Paralympic team country-wise?
At the time, it was Russia or Ukraine.
Wow. Okay. I would have thought South American, Brazil.
Well,
still,
Brazil
or
was
whatever.
up there, but the Russians were like mechanical palsy machines. I never seen it.
Mechanical palsy machine.
I've never seen it, man. We were playing.
They're that good.
We lost to them 11-1. And the one was them scoring on their own goal. We got Borders shooting on their goalie. Let's take some real shots.
They're that good, huh?
I'm telling you, one time, I forget, I think it was in the 04 Paralympics in Athens. I was on the field. I was trying to cover this dude. He was running down the right wing, and he got a ball over his shoulder, like somebody just booted it, and he one time kicked it into the back of our goal, and I was like, nice shot, man. Like, I'm high-fiving the fucking other team. Coach does not like that. When you do that, we got smoked, bro. They're so good. But it was such an amazing experience, and I also think that was a really pivotal point in my life of being comfortable in this body and like getting to hang out with other physically disabled dudes that have been through some of the same bullshit. And
also you're a team.
Yeah.
You know, literally outside of the cerebral palsy, you're also a team.
Right.
You're coming together like that. So that's fucking great.
So I think that really helped me with my comedy because those two things were taken off at the same time. Like within 1 month, I started like getting some traction in comedy, and then all of a sudden I joined the national team. It was like within 1 month, I was like, woohoo!
Were you a soccer player like all your life?
I'd never been on a team before that.
Nah.
Swear.
That's the first time you played organized soccer was for the goddamn Olympic team?
Mm-hmm. So I tried out I tried out in junior high, and they fucking cut me, and it broke my heart. And like, all I gotta say is like in junior high, let me come to practice. You know what I mean? You don't need
It's junior. Yeah, everyone should play in junior high.
You don't need to cut me. Let me at least come. And so that kind of discouraged me from ever like trying out for the college team or anything. But I always brought a soccer ball with me everywhere I went. I would just juggle and dribble it. And I just got really good on the ball. And then I just found out, I didn't even know the Paralympics were a thing. And then.
So how do you, what does it involve to try out for them?
Basically, this girl gave me an email of the coach. She's like, she saw me juggling. She had palsy. She's a swimmer. And she goes, you know, there's a soccer team for you, right? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? She goes, yeah. And she had the coach's email on like a gum wrapper. And I was so nervous to email him. I carried it around for like 3 months before I got the balls to just be like,
is that right?
I said, and the email was, my name is Josh Blue. I'm 22 years old. I have cerebral palsy, and I'm a damn good soccer player. And he wrote back, nice to meet you, Josh Blue. We're always looking for damn good soccer players. And then 2 weeks later, I'm on a plane to DC to their, it was just one of their camps, but it was a tryout for me. And, ever since then, I was either a starter or the first sub in. So my endurance is shit because I'm a partier. But I bring like the morale up when I come on. I play soccer with my elbows, you know, like you come by me, I'm going to fucking sting you.
Does the coach also have cerebral palsy?
No, he's just a fuckwit.
How do we feel about that?
It was fine. He was actually, there was 2 different coaches we went through, but the one I had longest was actually the assistant coach for the women's national team.
Oh, okay.
Back in the day. So he was a real deal.
He was legit.
Yeah, a real deal level coach. He's a real prick, but...
Liquid IV is the category-winning hydration brand, fueling your well-being, and their hydration multiplier is the one product you're missing in your daily routine. In just one stick, you're getting 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than water alone. Use it first thing in the morning, use it before a workout, when you feel run down, after a long night out, and on long flights. I'm taking them on my flights right now, and your boy's in physical therapy right now, and I take my water every day to physical therapy with a liquid IV in it. 12 delicious, refreshing flavors to keep your hydration routine exciting. Contains 5 essential vitamins, B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C. Has 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks, And it's made with premium ingredients, non-GMO and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code HoneyDew at checkout. That's 20% off of anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code HoneyDew at liquidiv.com. Our next partner is Athletic Greens. I heard about Athletic Greens and decided to give them a try because I wanted to improve my gut health and give my immune system some extra support, especially after getting out of the damn hospital. It's all your key health products like multivitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics, and more working together as one. I added AG1 to my morning routine, and it really does leave me feeling like I'm doing something good for my body. It's made with 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food-sourced ingredients that deliver benefits like mood, immune system, and sleep support, sustained energy, and so much more. You can even get it in convenient travel packs for when you're on the go, like I'm going to use for my upcoming tour. So, if you want to take ownership of your health, today is a good time to start. Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/honeydew. That's athleticgreens.com/honeydew. Check it out. Now, let's get back to the do. All right, I want to ask you this because you said the Russians were like palsy robots or whatever.
Yeah.
Fastest dude with cerebral palsy you've seen, and like, I mean, with just hauling ass.
Oh man, my buddy, like long distance wise, he can do like a 5-minute mile.
Are you?
Insane.
Oh my god,
he's insane, dude. That's like long distance. I was one of the fastest people on the team for
like the 40,
15 yards. You know?
15.
Yeah, I got a real fast 15. A real.
That's just a burst.
Yeah, dude.
I got a quick burst.
That's all I need because I was a cherry picker, you know. No offside, so like I was always able to get to the ball. Like you take a shot and it squirts out, I'll just get to it first. But much after that, I'm like, I'm out. There's a guy on my team named Martel. I mean, the way he walked, his feet were like pigeon-toed in so far. And you're like, there's no way this guy can play soccer. He was a fucking phenom. I've never seen no shit like that. He's like doing bicycle kicks and shit. I'm like, damn. When he came on the team, I was like, well, I guess I'm out.
There goes my spot.
Yeah, he took my spot for sure. And they were not wrong to give it to him. He's fucking good. And then my the captain of the team, Josh McKinney, he was my best friend on the team. He has the most goals in international play of any U.S. men's team.
Damn, is that right?
He's like 98 or something, which is a lot of fucking goals in international play.
All right, you were 8 years, you said, on the team? So in all the 8 years, tell me, wherever it was, whatever country, who's the best player you remember, period? Like, just like Jesus Christ. Is there a guy you think that could play, not in a national team or whatever, but with people who don't have cerebral palsy?
I mean, most of my teammates, we could hang with like non-palsy people.
Yeah.
I played with that. I'm telling you, that guy Martel, dude, he was the best natural athlete. And like, he get in goal and you couldn't score on the fucking guy either, but he could also kick the shit out of a ball. He had accuracy, he had touch. He could juke you out. You're like, how are you? Your feet are on backwards. Like,
your feet are on backwards.
I think that's how he did it, man.
That might be. That would definitely make me be like, hey, hang on a second.
I can't cover this guy.
Bam, he's gone. I'm like, sometimes look right here, bam, he's gone. Like, motherfucker's feet are, your shoes are on top.
I'm for real, man. He was fucking good. No, there's some really amazing players out there that you're like, I mean, there's this one Brazilian dude. He must have had a stroke or something because his right side was like pretty puny, but his left side was like the Incredible Hulk. It was weird as shit. He had the biggest limp in his run, and when he would kick the ball with his Hulk leg, it was scary. I'd just get out of the way of the ball. Like, I'm the good. You go ahead and score. It's amazing the different levels of like just what people can overcome, honestly.
Well, also, I'm sitting here thinking about it because it's interesting. Like each person has something inside them, whether it's God-given ability for athletics or music or whatever, right? And you're telling me cerebral palsy, it's not a genetic thing. It's because something happens.
Yeah.
So this person who's about to come out and be born already has this inherent God-given talent for whatever it is,
right.
But then cerebral palsy makes it way more difficult.
Yeah.
So this guy you're telling me about, this athlete, this dude, if he didn't have cerebral palsy, it sounds like he probably could play on the actual national team.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, he was fucking.
It's an interesting fucking. I've never even.
There's a weird mind conundrum. Where like, wait, what? How does this work? Again, when you saw the guy walking, you're like, there's no way this guy could play soccer, and he's so good. It's really interesting to see disabled sport. I think a lot of times it doesn't get the credit that it deserves, because I'm like, yeah, anybody can run with two legs. Like, shit.
Not everybody, unfortunately. Some people don't know how to do it still. You're like, come on, man.
Come on, bro.
You're making us look bad, bro.
Oh, yeah. But I've always been an athlete. Like, I took great pride in, like, humiliating able-bodied people in sport. Like, I used to play street football as a kid. That was my jam, and I was one of the best wide receivers in the neighborhood.
Were you? You had hands?
I was fast as shit, and I'm just like, I just get this.
At 15 yards and gone.
I'm at 15, man. Hit me. I'm at 15.
And I'm out of here.
I'm gone. Yeah. And I mean, I would juke the shit out of kids, and that was also the fun thing. Like, if any new kids had come to the neighborhood and they'd be playing with us, they'd be like, "Why'd you pick that guy first?" They're like, "You'll see." 5 touchdowns later, I'm like high stepping into the end zone, like, ha ha.
Mossing them out there.
We can't cover this palsy kid, man.
All right, I want to switch gears for a second, because I also want to ask. I saw our little list up here. The hotel incident in Montreal, is that what the dude saying you're so courageous?
Yeah, the Montreal thing. Yeah, but the hotel was just the guy kicking me out. You know?
Oh, like, yeah, throwing you out.
Yeah, like.
I just want to make sure we got that, because what I do want to talk about, because this is, I mean, look, we record these podcasts ahead of time, obviously, just so the fans know, and this just happened. So your son was involved in the most recent Denver school shooting.
Yep, East High School. It happened last Wednesday. That's where he.
I mean, right now we're recording on a Saturday, so this was literally 3-4 days ago. This happened.
Yeah. So we get the text message, school's in lockdown, and then turn on the news, and it's like shooting at the school. The kid shot 2 deans that were conducting a pat down on the child, and then he produced a gun, shot them both, and then fled. And then there was a manhunt for the kid, and he was found dead the next day. He killed himself up in the mountains. So it's really, I mean, I don't know what the fuck to do, man. Like, what are we doing here? What is happening?
Well, I just saw that reporter, and it was her son that was coming up right there at the time. And then, and Kirsten, she said her husband knows one of the deans, and he's in critical condition right now. Yeah, it's fucking insane. Like, and I just saw this video. I don't know where it was, maybe in Alabama school or something, but it's it's a bulletproof like barrier. And it's over in the corner. It's like a 2-wall thing that goes, and the teacher has to grab it. The kids get it, pull it out, and then the kids all have to run. I'm like, what the fuck?
What are we doing? I mean, I appreciate the effort, but there's got to be something that can prevent you needing that. And
was this kid a student at that school?
He was a student of the school, and he already, for whatever reason, in order for him to come into school, he had to get a pat down every day. Which I have questions on that alone. Like, wait, why are we giving him a chance if he's already got to that level? And then this is what happens. And then less than a month before that, there was another shooting at the same school.
Less than a month.
And the kid was sitting in his car at lunch break. Car pulled up, shot him, drove away. They're still at large, I believe.
So they don't even know if they were actual students of the school or anything?
And then the kid was in a coma for 2 weeks, and then he died. And then this happened a week later.
So a week after this poor kid dies from the last school shooting, you have another school shooting.
And the kids walked out of school the day of his death, did a march to the Capitol, all that. And then the next week, this happens again. So I'm at a point where it's just like, what is going to be done about this? Why are we letting this happen in our society to our fucking children of all things? I don't
At the place they're supposed to be. These kids aren't out doing shit that's wrong or fuck. They're at school.
Right.
And they're also sitting ducks. I just, on my Patreon, I was telling you, I talked to a guy who just was in the Michigan State shooting that was just, I mean, that was only a few weeks ago, around Valentine's Day that was. And he's laying behind a podium watching the wood chips fly off, and he's like, this is going to be how I die. And 2 girls, I think he said, in his class did die. So it's just happening at such a rapid pace. And now when people say, the such and such school shooting, people's response is, which one is that? Because there's so fucking many of them.
Well, I think this is the thing that ultimately disturbed me the most about this, is that my son seems fine, which is great. But the fact that he's so numb to this happening, he's not even like, he's like, yeah. I asked him, I was like, hey, do you want to be homeschooled? Do you want to go to a private school? He's like, no, I don't. I want to stay here. And like, I love that in him, but I'm also like, this isn't affecting you? Like, what? It's just too many of these. It's just.
Has there been a meeting with the school yet or anything where the parents can, like a town hall where the parents can come in and just fucking rip them alive now?
Yeah, I'm sure. But again, what's that going to do? They said they're going to have 2 police officers at every school now.
2?
2.
At every entrance? Or
Right.
just 2 at the whole fucking school?
Right. Again, a gun is a gun. It shoots very fast.
That's right.
So, I don't know. I mean, it's too little too late, It's just, and again, you hear about this every day, but then when it happens at your kid's school, that fucking makes you angry and makes you want change. And what are we going to do about that? Our politicians are never going to make this change. I don't know what makes me want to shoot somebody.
I hear you, dude.
God damn. Seriously, bro. It's like shit. God damn it, man.
I mean, you know how it works. Until someone in power has it touch them.
Right.
Until it affects them personally, then shit doesn't get done. If, God forbid, that happens to the president's son or anybody like in power like that, then shit will start to change, but it's just happening to regular people. And what are we going to do?
Yeah, it's not our problem.
Right. Not our problem. We're over here.
Anyway, that's, it's a process now. It's like making sure my son is mentally okay after that. Because you can also say you're okay and not be okay. So, but now my daughter is supposed to go to that school in a couple of years. And it was a great school. It's one of the best schools in Colorado. And that's happening there. So, I don't.
It's the same. Like, I can't. I'm just trying to put my head in your son's place. Like, imagine being in fucking, what is he, 10th grade, 15? Ninth grade.
Yeah, freshman.
And 2 fucking one's enough to traumatize you forever. 2 in not 9th grade and then my senior year, fucking back to back.
Within a month. Right. But and then the other thing is like, all right, say we do take them out of school. Well, do we also not go to movie theaters or grocery stores or malls because it's happening every fucking place. Mm-hmm. You can't go outside without, it's like person got a gun? Does that person, as you see, I'm already a jumpy motherfucker.
Yeah, you did get a little excited.
Yeah, that's a palsy thing. We have wicked startle reflex.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you get a gun involved, I'll fly out the roof.
So you are divorced.
I'm divorced.
And you have 50.
Thank you.
you have split custody.
50%.
So how do you manage that with the road and stuff? You go home, you see the kids.
So we made it pretty cool. So 3 weeks a month, I have them Sunday through Wednesday, and then I can travel Thursday through Sunday.
Okay.
And then 1 week a month, I have them for the whole week. So I take a week off the road and hang out with the kids.
Yeah.
Unless something better comes up.
Well, you said you love being a dad.
I do, man.
What do you love about it?
I've always wanted to be a dad. Like when I was a kid. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a dad. I was never sure about the husband part, but again, babies were my jam. I just loved that age. Obviously, this is teenage years coming with some real shit to parent on. But my kids are great. They're funny, engaging human beings that are, can talk to adults, look them in the eye. Like, I'm proud of that shit, I made 2 little smart, funny assholes.
Good for you, dude.
Yeah, they're good. My daughter's sense of humor is evil, bro. She's something, man. I had a buddy come over who was a triple amputee. He's a vet.
What is the triple amputee? What is he missing?
Both legs above the knee, and then one arm, and then he's a couple fingers on the other hand. He came over as a comedian. My daughter, we had to carry him in the house, put his wheelchair down.
Your daughter did that with
you?
No.
Oh,
okay.
The other comedian. And then my daughter comes in the room when he's there and she looks him up and down. She goes, finally, someone I'm taller than.
Nah, dude.
I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, holy shit. Holy shit, dude.
God damn it.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
This Purple Heart veteran.
Yeah, dude, seen some shit. Just shit all over him. Just shit all over him.
He wasn't even
served our country so well. He literally gave so much.
Yes, he gave almost all of it.
Oh, dude, that's good.
Finally, an adult I'm taller than.
Oh, all right. So, what age do you start doing comedy, and why? What got you into comedy? Were you always a comedy fan as well, listening to different comedians, or did you just go say fuck it and try it?
So I always loved laughing and loved stand up. I felt like you don't know that's a real thing that you can do as a kid. You just see people and you're like, wow, that's fucking amazing. I remember stealing a Eddie Murphy cassette tape from my buddy's brother and like giggling uncontrollably and not even really getting the jokes. He just said rubber penis. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I was just giggling so hard. And then I just loved stand up and like, this is a hard one, but I remember watching fucking Bill Cosby, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our teacher put it on in high school class, the Bill Cosby himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching it, and for some reason, I was just like, I could do that. And like, not many people watch an amazing comedian and just go, yeah, I could do that. And it was in my head since that. And then I went to a really liberal arts college called the Evergreen State College in Washington, and you can create your own courses and majors. And I actually studied stand-up my senior year. I got credit for it and never looked back. So yeah, I've always been quick-witted and had the impeccable timing.
And where'd you do your first spot? In Minnesota, when you were in Minnesota?
No, the first spots were on the campus of the university or the college. But then my first club I played was the Tacoma Underground. It was like back in the day. And so, again, I'll give you a taste of it. So, my first set, they gave me 2 minutes. I met the host for like 1 second before he asked me what my intro was. And he goes on, and it turns out he's a cop comic, which is not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And all his jokes were like, I pulled the guy over and then I hit him in the head with my billy club. Like, what? It's not funny. Like, and then he did his set, and then he said, okay, are you ready for our first comedian? He's a very special guy. He's a good friend of mine. Please welcome Josh Blue. And I went up, I was like, I don't know that motherfucker. But that was my instant, like, first taste of, like, this condescending fucking guy. Like, he's a special guy.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of mine. Like, don't talk down to me. You know.
Have you gotten a lot of that in comedy?
For sure.
Yeah.
And here's the thing I get the most, and I actually really enjoy it, is like, I'll come into a room and you don't know me. Like last night, there was a lot of comics at the club that didn't know me, and I'm like super friendly. I'm like a golden retriever. I want to talk to everybody, say hello, get to know you a little bit.
I'm the opposite.
And, yeah, I just like doing it. It's just fun, and these people wouldn't even look at me. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And I try to shake their hand, and they'd be like, just treating me like some. And then I went on and fucking murdered. And then they'd come up like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm like, fuck off. You were a dick to me beforehand. Like, why is it now that you see that I'm better than you at this? I don't know. I don't like that kind of shit. It really irks me. Because I got that my whole career. Like, people just assume.
Promoters and club managers and all that shit too.
But then I go do it, and they're like, oh, whoops.
Whoops. Yeah. Just go slay.
So I love it. I love slaying, man.
Do most people treat you differently at first and then watch you crush and then they switch gears?
I mean, at this point, I have enough clout and credit that like, anywhere I'm going is I sold out the theater for them. So they're like, okay, this guy's got to be. And, I'm represented well, so they weed out most of the bullshit, but some still gets through.
I wanted to ask you about your parents growing up, and I know you said you're the youngest, and you have cerebral palsy. But what did they try to raise you in a way where they didn't treat you any differently than your other siblings, just so you got used to real fucking life?
That was it. They just treated me like another kid. Like my mom said this, like, yeah, you had some needs that the other kids didn't have, but it was like we're taking her to soccer practice and you to therapy. It's just like the thing we did for you. It wasn't like, and they never made it a big deal. And they made me do chores and all that shit. But I mean, you can ask my siblings. They're like, you didn't do shit. But that's because I was the youngest and good at not doing anything.
Right.
Didn't have anything to do with the palsy. They're like, you could do this. I'm like, I could, but I'm not going to. So they definitely just tried to make it as normal as possible. But also, I was one of the first disabled kids to go through the public school system mainstream. Like, I was in special ed till the 4th grade, and in special ed back then they just clumped us all together. So you'd be with the Down syndrome kid and then the blind kid, and they'd kind of treat us all the same. But then we got to 4th grade, me and my buddy Nick, who had palsy, and they're like, we gotta let these guys go. We gotta mainstream these
straight A's.
Yeah. and then they let us out into general pop, and we went. But there was a lot of learning for the teachers, because all of a sudden these teachers that have taught a certain way their whole career, now we come in and we need different. we could still do the work, but we got to the answer in a different route, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I just remember my mom having to go to school, and I mean, I bet she made a lot of my teachers cry. Like, just like, listen, just chew them out. Like, fucking hell. Like, just, he's smart. He's smarter than the other kids. Just, he can't write. My writing is shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually had to have a scribe. This is super interesting. So, like, through elementary school, they just had another kid write for me. So, so basically, we just take the test together, and then I'd be like, "What do you think?" You know, like,
are you serious?
So then in junior high, they got me my own scribe. Her name was Rosa Marie Daniels.
Is she like a high school kid or college kid or something? Or
middle-aged black woman from Mississippi.
That's the lady that's writing for you? That's awesome.
I went from junior high through high school with Miss Daniels. It was like going to school with my big black mom. It was insane, bro.
She would just sit right next to you.
She'd sit in the desk next to me. And
that's a real thing. I didn't even know that was a job.
Dude, it was insane. And she dressed like she's going to church every day, like big hats. And,
hats in the school. Yeah. Standing out.
Nobody fuck with me, man. They were like, we're not messing with that guy.
That is too much. Was she friendly? Did you grow? Did you have a relationship with her?
Yeah, I mean, she's a sweet lady.
Did she ever reach out to you when you got on?
We actually talk on Instagram
for real
to this day.
Hell yeah! All right.
Yeah, great woman.
Did you ever ask her, "What do you think?" And she's like, "Mm."
Oh yeah, she would help.
She would
all the time, man. Dude, I don't know anything. I don't know shit, bro.
She knows everything.
Man, I remember one time the teacher moved us into his office because I couldn't be doing the answers in front of when they're taking the exam.
Oh, yeah.
So he put us in the office, and the fucking answer key was on the desk. And I was like, is it B? And she like, B. She totally helped me.
That is hilarious.
I just think she was doing it because she's like, I can't have this guy repeat a grade. I can't work with him anymore. Man, she was great. I remember too, like, looking back on this, I'm like, oh, I get it now. My teachers were scared of her. Like, I remember one time she was painting her fingernails in class.
Nah.
You know how bad that smells?
Yeah.
The teacher came, he was like, who's painting their fingernail? Who's doing it? And then he saw her and he was like, ooh. And he went and sat in his desk. Just a proud, amazing woman. Like, just held herself strong. And like, I remember one time she was tapping her nails on the desk. And I was like, are you bored? And she goes, yeah, I already went to high school.
Yeah, good point.
And then I was like, oh, fuck, you're right. This must be so boring, following my dumb ass around. Pretty cool. But
that is pretty cool, dude.
I attribute a lot of my success to her, too.
Do you?
Just because it was like having a very proper religious person on your shoulder and making sure you're not being...
She kept you in line, too. She didn't just help with school.
Right.
She like... Yeah.
You know, and like any other kid, but that's the thing. I always had the timing. My timing's always been good, so I'll just wait for it in class for the teacher to say something, and then I'll just drop something in and make all the kids laugh and the teachers laugh.
Did you make her laugh too?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
She was a tough audience.
Now, what was she?
Yeah, man.
What if you're out sick that day? Do you have to give her a heads up so she doesn't show up?
Oh yeah, for sure. We'd tell her, but then also like, she would be out sick some days. So those would be like days off, well, in school still. Because I'm like, well,
Free
sorry,
day.
I can't do anything. I'm sorry, I would, but I just can't write.
Dude, listen, this has been a great episode. Thank you very much for coming on here.
Thanks for having me, dude. I enjoy this.
Well, I'm going to ask you one last question, and it really lines up because you said 16 was a very pivotal time for you because I think you were back in Senegal then, right?
Senegal.
So what advice would you give to your 16-year-old self?
I think it was just like, it's going to be okay. I think I had so many worries about like are girls gonna like me because of the way I walk? And like that was a lot of anxiety. And I think if I was 16 and I knew, like, listen, dude, it's gonna work out the way it's supposed to, and like, don't stress that shit, it would have saved me a lot of anxiety through those years. Yeah, it's gonna work out.
That's great, dude. Thank you for doing this. Seriously.
My pleasure, man.
Promote everything again, your special, all of it.
Yeah, just Josh Blue Comedy, all social media, Instagram, Twitter, blah, 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 blah. I hate this shit. And a YouTube channel. And then also I have edibles in Colorado. So it's in Colorado and Missouri now. So in over 100 dispensaries throughout the country. It's called Josh Blue's Dream. That's in Colorado's Josh Blue's Dream. And then in Missouri, it's called Josh Blue's Marijuana Dream.
All right.
And they're edible suckers, 4 flavors. I recommend the sour pineapple.
You got a honeydew one coming?
Oh, yeah, we should. I'll talk to the boys about it.
All right. Thank you again. As always, Ryan Sickler on all social media, ryansickler.com. We'll talk to y'all next week.